If we look at his seerah, there's mentioned in the books of seerah, in Seerah ibn Hisham, and other books of the life, the biography of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When the Arabs in his time are born, at the age of 2 or 3, they are sent to the outskirts of Mecca. They are sent to the outskirts of Mecca to learn the most eloquent, Fusha, Arabic language. Because the Bedouins in that time would speak the most eloquent Arabic. And scholars say another reason why they were sent to the outskirts of Mecca is because a child very easily recognizes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the outskirts of Mecca there was a lot of nature. And through this nature, this child will be able to recognize Allah. And Imam Fakhruddin Razi rahimahullah, a very famous scholar on logic, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this child such ability to recognize him that if a 2-year-old child is walking around and someone hides behind a tree and throws a rock across where the child is crawling, when the rock is thrown, the child will actually look from where was this rock thrown. So how can this insan and this creation of man negate the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the originator of everything? He doesn't look at where the rock was thrown. This child looks for where the rock came from. Because كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ يُولَدُ عَلى الْفِطْرَةِ, a very famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that each child is born with the correct nature. فَأَبَوَاهُ يُهَوِّدَانِهِ أَوْ يُنَصِّرَانِهِ أَوْ يُمَجِّسَانِهِ أَوْ كَمَا قَالَ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ. The parents are the ones who will lead him astray. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Every child is born with the correct nature. The parents are the ones that will lead him astray. They will make him follow a different path, a different religion. These are the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's the law of physics. With every action, there is an equal reaction. The way we will bring up our children, that's how we can judge in the future if they are the coolest for our eyes or not. And this is what we have to understand, especially in our community. Where are the youth? Quite frank. Where are the youth? What do we hear time and again? It's happening here. Back home we will hear that alhamdulillah, there was some environment of deen. They would attend the prayers in the masjid. And their parents would make sure that they were establishing their salah and performing their necessary worship, acts of worship. I know many youngsters, I'm from the same community, same age as well. Many youngsters, there's no name of salah. When it came to the fasting the month of Ramadan, I met a few of my friends. They said they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. When it comes to dealing with that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has totally shunned, and which a believer could never even think of going to that path, they're involved in dealing with those things. What is the reason for that? Is it only them that we have to blame or we should blame or not? If Rasulullah ﷺ says that the parents are the ones that lead the children astray, then what is the fact of the matter? What is the excuse that parents have when the child is still young. Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned the hadith of Abu Dawood, which I started the lecture with. مُرُوا أَوْلَادَكُمْ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَهُمْ أَبْنَاءُ سَبْعٍ. Command your children to pray salah at the age of 7. At the age of 7. What do we say? Bachai khuldas. He's a small child. Let him be. He still has time. At the age of 10, he still has time. Age of 15, he still has time. And then the age 20 comes, and the father doesn't know what to do with his child. He comes to the Maulana or the Sheikh. Sheikh, please advise my child. I don't know what's happening with him. It's like the Sheikh has a magic wand, and abracadabra, and the child will become pious all of a sudden. At the age of 7, Rasulullah ﷺ is commanding. It's a command from him. At the age of 7, they should be performing salah. Upbringing of the children. There are books written on this that we should be reading. Our children should be reading how to become ideal children. Reading has left the imagination. If you look at all the successful people in the world, I'm talking about from the top, Bill Gates going down. Look at their lives and they will tell you that they finish a book in a week. 7 days, one book completed. Next 7 days, another book is completed. Motivation, inspirational purposes, how to educate themselves more, how to become better human beings. They are reading and they are improving. But we don't see that. We only see the amount of wealth he has. We don't see the effort that was put behind it. The seerah, the life of Rasulullah ﷺ, written by tons of scholars. How many of us have read it? How many of us have read the life of Rasulullah ﷺ? Speaking about when he used to, in his time, the Arab children would be sent to the outskirts, the Bedouins. This is very similar to an education system which exists today, the Montessori system. And scientists and psychologists say that this system is proven much better than the normal educational system. Because the normal educational system, you're like a robot. You will come to class, you will be taught a lesson, you will only be hearing from the teacher. At the end there's an exam. And if you improve or not, it doesn't really matter, as long as you pass. In the Montessori system, you are not taught much. You just explore yourself and who you are. And you improve like that. Children of different ages, children of different mentalities and ideologies, and they're together and they're studying together. This is exactly the upbringing of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. With random children in the outskirts of Mecca, he is brought up with morals and ethics, not with PlayStation and Xbox. That's the way to bring up children. Get them in the habit of reading books. Get them in the habits of learning about Islam. And if we look at the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, it's one verse, yet it tells us a lot. It tells us too much. What does he say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Safat, فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيَ. We have to remember the background, that Ismail alayhi salam and his mother are left in the desert lands of Mecca. Ibrahim alayhi salam is commanded to leave them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes care of Ismail alayhi salam and his mother. The mother is the one that has a bigger role in the upbringing of the children, because children are usually attached to the mother more than the father, with all due respect to father sitting here. Ibrahim alayhi salam is not in their company. He comes back loving this child because he made dua to Allah to give him, to bless him with this child. He comes back and he sees a dream, and the dream of the Prophet is reality. It has to happen. He sees a dream in which he has to slaughter his son Ismail alayhi salam. And we've heard this story. But the lesson that I want to point out from this story, the command of Allah comes through the dream that you have to slaughter your son, no questions asked. There's no interpretation, there's no second meaning. It's the actual dream that you saw that has to be reality. It has to become reality. What does he do? Hey, come here, let's go. No. He doesn't pull his son, doesn't drag his son, doesn't force him. Scholars say Ismail alayhi salam is at the age of 13, others say 15 at this time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَلَغَ مَعَهُ السَّعْيِ. When Ismail alayhi salam is at the age of walking with his father, traveling with his father. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was testing Ibrahim alayhi salam because he's Khalilur Rahman, he's a friend of Allah. And he has this son who he's really attached to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to test him and see, will he give preference to the love of Allah over his son, or the love of his son over Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what does he do? He goes to his son. Ya bunayya. He's speaking to his son. Interaction, which is totally, almost doesn't exist in our background, our culture. When a father is close to his son like a friend, what do others say? Why? Because he's picking him up and he's kissing him around. This is exactly the example of the days of Jahiliyyah. When Rasulullah was kissing that child and the Sahabi looks at him, authentic hadith, he says, Ya Rasulullah, what is this? You're kissing the child? Rasulullah replies, is it my fault that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken mercy away from your heart? Interaction with the children, speaking to them, advising them in the right way, with love and affection, not just commands, not just forcing them to do things. Because this is the law, that too much pushing the children will make them rebellious. And especially in this part of the world, it is very easy to be independent. What happens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us, that when they get older, they either leave the home, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us, they will take those same parents that brought him up out of the homes. And he will tell the parents that, I'm not in need of you anymore. I've had enough. Interaction with the children. There's a command of Allah here. No questions asked. You have to slaughter him. Yet he is still asking and speaking to his son. Ya bunayya, oh my beloved son. In Arabic, Ya bani, Ya ibni means oh my son. Ya bunayya is a very affectionate way of saying, oh my beloved son. Inni ara fil manam. I see in a dream. Anni adbahuk, that I am sacrificing you. So Ibrahim alayhi salam asks him, فَانْظُرْ مَاذَا تَرَى. So look deeper into this matter. What is your opinion? This is the command of Allah. He has to fulfill it. It doesn't mean he was hesitant with the command of Allah. That's why he put this question to his son, that if he's not ready for it, I'm going to leave it. No. He is testing his son to see what reply will this son give. How was he brought up? Is he that child who was given all the gadgets and whatever he wanted and he was spoiled? Or was he that child who was brought up in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, in the way that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam expects? What does he reply? Amazing. Ya abati fa'al ma tu'mar. Oh my father, do as you have been commanded. Satajiduni insha'Allahu min as-sabirin. This is a 13-year-old child speaking, that verily soon you will find me, if Allah wills, among the patient ones. Look at the upbringing of this child. This reply does not come with any child.